Good day. I'm Menachem Avichayel for Trust in Hashem. Today is the 6th day of March in the year 2026 by the Gregorian calendar. By the Torah calendar, it's the 17th of Adar in the year 5786. Seems like just yesterday everything started, 5786, just a couple days ago. Today we are going to be covering in the second book of Shemot, commonly known as Exodus, the 9th Parsha, Kee Tissa. The first line really tells the entire whole story of Moses and what he actually means in Hashem's plan. Line 30, in chapter 30, verse 11, the Lord spoke with Moses, saying. Now the key word here is with. Usually when you speak to somebody, you say, I spoke Adam, or I spoke to them, something like that. But when you're speaking with somebody, you're speaking with just an associate that's a friend. Someone that's on your level, so to speak. Now obviously nobody's on the level of Hashem, but this shows you the respect that Hashem gives towards Moses. So we go to chapter 30, line 14, and Hashem tells Moses to gather together everybody that's over the age of 20 and up. And then line 31 of chapter 30, Moses is told to anoint Aaron, and his relatives, his descendants, are to be the Kohen Gadols throughout the Kohen and the Kohen Gadols throughout your generations, throughout their generations. It never stops. At least it should never stop. Even today, the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol should be up there doing the service. We go to chapter 30, line 8, and Hashem talks to Moses about making the aromatic incense. And Hashem is very, very specific about this. Anybody that makes anything that even smells like it gets cut off from the Jewish people, from Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel. That's pretty serious. You're not allowed to do anything that's done in the temple is for the temple, not for outside of the temple. So we have then we move on to chapter 31, verse 1 and 3. Now this is a very key element of the Parsha Kee Tissa. It talks about Betzalel. Betzalel is filled with the Spirit in wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in every artistic craft. That sounds like it's even greater than Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci combined. Let's face it, Betzalel had talent. We go on to chapter 31, verse 13, and Hashem repeats about the Sabbath day, and that is throughout all of our generations, we're not to work on the Sabbath day. Now comes the most important part of the Parsha. We go to chapter 33, verse 11. The Lord spoke with Moses, and he gives a definition of what that means. He spoke with Moses speech with speech, just as a man speaks to a friend. No other prophet ever did or ever will speak with Hashem on that kind of a level. Totally awake. Not in a deep sleep or a trance. No, not with Moses. Moses was totally awake. The father of prophets, so to speak. Now we come to the whole reason for Parsha Kee Tissa. Chapter 34, verse 12. The very next line after Hashem tells you how he spoke with Moses. And he says, beware. Beware of making a covenant with the inhabitants of the land. You know, it kind of reminds me, maybe this is a little bit off topic for the Parsha, but it kind of reminds me of October 7th. I remember when it first happened. I was still in America. I hadn't made Aliyah yet. I was scheduled to. I was supposed to come over within another week or two. They canceled my flight because I guess a lot of IDF soldiers were coming back from America to take part in what needed to be done. Finally, after about a month and a half, I think it was November 28th, I got to land here in Israel, became a citizen of the country officially. I was always a citizen from the day I was born. Since I was born to a Jewish mother, that made me a citizen of Am Yisrael right away. But in verse 12 of chapter 34, when Hashem says, beware of making a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, I can remember them saying the name of the operation was going to be Operation Iron Sword. And so, what kind of name is that? That doesn't say what we're supposed to be doing. They should have named it Operation Dinah. If you know your Torah, you know exactly what I mean. Or they should have named it the words of the prophets to Saul when he didn't do what he was told to do with the descendants of Amalek. When are we going to learn? There's only one way to deal with the enemy, and that's to treat him like the enemy. It's called unconditional surrender. As long as, you might not like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. As long as Am Yisrael calls this land the state of Israel, which the definition of state means a part of something else, which we are commanded not to be a part of the other nations, to be sole and separate from them. We can live amongst them, we can do trade with them. There's lots of things we can do with them, but we're not supposed to make covenants with them. When they name our land Eretz Yisrael, that's the day Hashem will stop all of the enemies, not of us, not of the Jewish people. We were, okay, we're a group of people, we're Hashem's treasured nation, He gave us this land to live in, yes, with certain criteria that we have to live by, yes. But just remember, the people that want to wipe us out today, they really don't want to wipe us out. All it is the Tower of Babel all over again. This is what's been going on for over 5,000 years. They don't want to live under the rule of Hashem. They want to wipe Hashem out. The Tower of Babel. They want to wipe out Hashem. They want to do battle with Hashem. We just happen to be in the way. The day that Am Yisrael decides that we're going to stand with Hashem, do what He says needs to be done, that's the day that when we go into battle, we will lose no soldiers and the enemy will be wiped out. We're just one Jew, one Am Yisrael will be able to defeat all the world's armies. Sounds strange? Not when it's Hashem that's doing the fighting for you. I'm Menachem Avichai for trust in Hashem. May the Sanhedrin be reconvened again. May all of Am Yisrael be gathered together from the four corners of the earth. May the age of Mashiach start. Have a good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.